Hello everyone, it's Greg from Mystery Honey. I'm just doing my inspections and I came across a dead-out. It turned out that it was a drone-laying queen. I'll explain why in a second. But what I thought I'd do is show you what dysentery kind of looks like. So dysentery is kind of an indicator of distress. So bees only defecate inside the hive if there is something wrong and something preventing them from defecating outside. Usually this is down to some sort of disease. So you've got some tracheal mites and stuff like that that cause dysentery. What that means is the bees just cannot hold onto the bowels whatsoever all the way through winter, and they just end up pooping everywhere, and it makes a mess. It spreads disease to the other bees, and it just snowballs into just colony death. It's horrible. There are other reasons why you'll see dysentery as well. Sometimes it is too wet and too cold outside, and the bees that are in there just haven't had a chance to go out at all during any sort of slightly warm moment or slightly dry moment, just to go and void their bowels outside. So sometimes if it's a very cold and very wet winter, the bees will just huddle and they will stay like that. In this case, what had happened is that the queen turned into a drone-laying queen, so the bees that were in there started to die off and they weren't getting replenished. All they were getting replenished with drones. Drones, they don't have the ability really as the winter bees do of holding their bowels for months and months. So one of the indicators that you have a drone-laying queen is that you'll see some dysentery when the colony is dead. Now, it won't be like masses of dysentery. So it's something like the tracheal mites, it will look like a tidal wave of poo. When it's something like this, where it's like just some distress because the drones, they can't get out and got really no ability to do anything useful whatsoever, you'll see where it just looks mucky in essence. So here's a frame here. So if you look at that, you can see the brown there, and you can see like the brown splodges here. That is bee poo. It's all over the comb. It's on the bottom of the frame there, so it's the bees have pooed everywhere, and there's one of the drones I was talking about right there. So these guys are born in winter, which is what drones are really not made for whatsoever. They are great in spring and summer. They go out, they mate with virgin queens, and they come back, or sometimes they don't if they actually find a virgin queen. Winter, they're dreadful. Absolutely terrible. They're no use to the colony whatsoever. That's why in autumn the bees will take out all the drones and just kick them out the hive, and they won't be allowed back in again. These drones will usually find somewhere and just die, unfortunately. It's really unfortunate, but the colony doesn't have any need for drones in winter. The drones will just take up more food, and they won't be able to produce the same amount of heat as the workers. They won't be able to hold their bowels like the workers, and in essence it'll just be a massive liability. So they get rid of them, and they'll just come back again in spring. Unfortunately, because this is a drone-laying queen, the drones just started being produced in winter. The other workers couldn't really do anything about it because they were too busy trying to keep the colony alive. Unfortunately, because the queen was creating drones and not workers, the colony just dwindled and dwindled and dwindled, and they just died out. It's really sad to see. I thought it was a good example of dysentery, so mucky frames like that where you can see some big splodges of brown and horribleness. You'll also get it on crown boards as well, like that. So even though this is a drone-laying queen, and I found evidence of it, and I'm like 90% sure of it, because there's so much dysentery in here, I just don't want to risk it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt down the wax, I'm going to burn the frames, and I'm going to sterilize all the boxes and all the other polystyrene stuff. There's no way that the disease will be transferred into any colony that I'll be putting in these boxes again. So yeah, it's very sad, it's very annoying, and I thought it was a good example for you guys if you ever come across something like this. Bye-bye.